Chapter 18. Interview with Henry Deacon, a Livermore physicist. In the years of 2006-07, Project Camelot interviewed an employee of one of the United States three-letter agencies, and they used the pseudonym of Henry Deacon because they wanted to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. It is a fascinating interview, and here are some points that I extracted. Q. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? A. I'm a current employee of one of the three-letter agencies. I am probably taking quite a risk by speaking to you like this, though I don't intend to reveal any information that is in my judgment both classified and specific to national security. I've been involved with many projects with many different agencies over many years. Q. What information do you feel you have that's important for the world to know? A. There's so much that it's hard to know where to start. I knew about 9/11 2 years before the event, for instance, not in specific terms but certainly in general ones. It was talked about, an event like that, something that would change the game, let's say. I know that there's a planned war between the US and China scheduled for late 2008. This is also geopolitical and not concerned with Black Ops as such. These were both events that I got to hear about in passing. I have no detailed information about them. Q. You mean that China and the United States are working together to stage a war? A. The Pentagon started planning in 1998. You have to understand that China and the US are hand in glove with everything. This war is a joint op between the US and China. Most wars are set up that way and have been for a while. You want something else that's just unpleasant to hear. I also heard from someone that was serving in a unit that worked with missiles deployed for testing in the Pacific and the Far East. The missiles were shipped to the test location in very tightly sealed containers, very secure, hermetically sealed. After the tests the container would be shipped back, sealed the same way, but empty, supposedly empty. On one occasion, this guy was present when the container was opened. It wasn't empty. It was filled with bags of white powder. Q. Cocaine. A. I leave you to draw your own conclusions. I doubt it was sugar. Let me just say that, hypothetically speaking, and let me just say that to protect myself, if such a plan was in operation, it makes perfect logistical sense as it's a totally secure way to get around all security, customs, international boundaries and ports and all those checks. It's perfect, like the way guns and ammunition used to cross borders in diplomatic bags going between consulates. This happens all the time. Q. Would you call yourself a physicist? A. Yes. I cover specialities as well, but yes, I'm a physicist and I specialize in systems. Q. Do you know anything about chemtrails? Chemtrails were developed by Edward Teller and are basically the seeding of thousands of tons of microparticles of aluminium on the upper atmosphere to try to increase the albedo of the planet, the reflectivity of the planet, because of global warming. Now, gold microparticles, real gold, were used once in a similar situation on another planet, but I guess they had lots of gold and we used aluminium instead. Global warming is partly because of the greenhouse effect, and that certainly makes things worse, but most of it is because of increased solar activity. Solar activity is the real problem. Q. Is this also connected with weather wars? A. Yes, there are weather wars. The Air Force will own the weather within 2 years. Q. What else can you tell us? A. The report from Iron Mountain. Much of that is true. I was working with a group and they called us in and passed out a report. The weird thing is that it wasn't even connected with what we were working on, and it came just right out of the blue, out of nowhere, and none of us were expecting it. The guy said, and I will never forget it, because it struck me as just wrong, there are the wolves and there are the sheep, and we are the wolves. Then the guy told us to go and read the report. There wasn't any choice and there still isn't. The way they see it is there are too many people, and, they are right. That's true. So they figure they need to eliminate them and they are planning solutions to this. I happen to think it doesn't have to be that way. Apart from what I've mentioned so far about the space-time problems, the problem is overpopulation. It's as simple as that. There are programs to reduce global population for everyone's benefit. Believe it or not, the intent there is positive. It was put together by Kennedy way back then. The Rand Corporation was involved, and one of the Rockefellers, I forget which one, probably Lawrence, I think. How do you feel about this personally? Very mixed. As an individual flesh and blood human being, I'm appalled. As a scientist trained to look at things from a high vantage point, a high overview, I have to say that I can understand the thinking. You have to understand that I'm not defending or condoning this. It's just a comment from an abstract scientific perspective. But the problems we face on this planet are so huge that very few people have the training or experience to view it all, to see it in the same field of vision. I've worked with many agencies and I have the big picture. Do you know that it's legal to test biological and chemical agents against United States citizens? It's legal, all that has to be done is to get the approval of the mayor of the city, or his equivalent in any area, or some representative official. No one knows this, but it can be checked out. Go look it up. It's all carefully hidden away in the law somewhere, but it's all in the public domain. It's all there. You've revealed a whole lot of extraordinary material here in our conversation. What's the most important message you'd like to leave people with? Look, I don't want to shock anyone, but I'm not optimistic. The problems facing us as a race on this planet are huge. I don't believe most civilians are ready and able to comprehend and deal with the sheer scale and complexity of it all. They have enough trouble managing their everyday lives, and these problems are on a completely different level. Overpopulation is really the biggest issue. Everything else facing us is connected with this. You see, I can understand the military taking matters into their own hands. If there was a full disclosure of all the problems and the entire proposed solutions, do you really think it would help any of us? I suggest the answer is probably not. It would just complicate matters further. But deep down I do feel that everyone should know these things. I want people to know the important things that have been kept from us all.